Answered prayer. Oh my gosh, I could tell you stories about the times I have had answered prayer, but dig this one. And it did not happen right away, and I didn't believe it would happen right away. But we were talking before I was diagnosed, when I was just in the middle of my chaos and not knowing what was going on. It was probably 1994. I was in the midst of my mess, and I wrote a letter to God. And I wrote a letter to God. It was probably August. And I was like, God, isn't there anybody out there who can help me? Isn't there anybody out there who will understand what's going on with me? Isn't there anyone who cares without yelling at me, without screaming at me? Isn't there somebody, Lord? Can't you help me find somebody? That was my prayer. And it was 6 years later, in 2000, that I met my professor, Leah. And she was a pastor's wife, and she's the one that ended up counseling me after I was diagnosed with my mental illness. She understood. She knew. She was ready. And after we started working on things, she showed me the date that she felt called to move into this new movement that God was calling her into, to go back to school, to learn how to help people who were wounded and hurting. And it was August of 1994, the same exact month that I wrote that letter to God and said, isn't there anybody who can help me? That is when she moved in to that new ministry, and God worked with her and got her ready to the point where she could meet me. Now that is answered prayer.